Welcome to Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. This podcast is about the journey to a more sustainable future in order for us to be able to do our bit to achieve net zero. I'll be discussing a variety of topics with experts in their field in order to educate and increase our knowledge of clean energy, electric vehicles and the electric vehicle infrastructure. So whether you're an individual wanting to make a difference at home, a small business or a corporate, this podcast is just for you. I'm really excited about talking to this gentleman here. I'm calling you a gentleman, Adam. I'm talking to Adam Thurman from EV Bodyshops today. And before I say thank you for joining me, this man came to my rescue before Christmas one had a wee dink with the wind knife. So, Adam, thank you ever so much for joining me.
No problem. Nice to be on.
So Adam runs EV Bodyshops, managing director, married to George Thurman of Women Drive Electric fame. She's famous now because she's in the GF 100.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And just the company that you run just came to my... I can't even tell you how it saved so much stress and aggravation for me before Christmas. So I wanted to bring you on and talk to you about what you do, because the experience with EV Bodyshops was fabulous. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had any bumps. And like I said, we talked about, this was a bit of a silly one because I didn't have front sensors on the Hyundai and it didn't tell me there was a bollard there. But actually, I should have probably known, shouldn't I? But we won't go there. So I contacted... Yeah. So I contacted my insurance company, but then thought about you. And we got in contact. But just talk to me about why you started. What happened before EV Bodyshops in order for you to actually start your own company?
I originally did an apprenticeship as a panel beater, so I'm an ex-technician.
Right.
So I qualified as a panel beater. I went into the office and did some estimating. I'm a qualified painter as well, although that was a long time ago now. But I was, as a body shop manager, I was quite young, 23. So
as a manager, cool.
Yeah, so that was a place in Basingstoke, and I've kind of progressed through my career. I've run groups, so body shop groups, 5 or 6 shops, and I've worked for main dealers and independent body shops. So that's you get 2 different types of body shop normally, in 2016, I worked for a group called HROing, which are quite a big dealer group.
Yeah. I know them. Yeah.
We've got other places as well, a lot of supercars and a lot of sort of super prestige stuff. So I worked for those guys, and that was the first time that I was introduced to Tesla. So Body Technics, which was the site we had in Slough, was the first Tesla repair in the UK.
Right.
So I ran that for 3 or 4 years and got a real good understanding of kind of Tesla early days on, and I really liked the product. So we were surrounded by amazing supercars, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Bugattis, everything, amazing. Wow. But I quite liked the tech on Tesla, and I thought it was quite clever, quite different. So that's kind of what sparked my interest with it. I left that business, went off to work for a couple of other dealer groups, and what happened was I was talking to my old after-sales director, so we kept in touch, and kind of generally talking about it and saying, do you know what, there's a bit of an opportunity here because electric's coming and body shops are kind of not really ready for it, as a lot of industries aren't. So we started 2.5 years ago now, so just after lockdown. Started with a site in Enfield. And we've just grown from there, really. So we were the first dedicated electric repair in the UK. Wow. So there are other body shops that do electric, but you tend to find you'll have a Mercedes body shop or a Volkswagen Group body shop or whatever. But we kind of take all electric, and it's national coverage as well. So we'll pick up from anywhere. Obviously, it has to be a sensible repair for us to do so, because we have to obviously recover the cars and things like that. But yeah, we offer coverage. We're all over the place. So where were we last week? Bristol, So this is obviously, we're based in Enfield, but Bristol, Coventry, Liverpool,
Reading.
to go, Reading. Reading's an easy one for us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's we saw the opportunity, and we've kind of used our experience with kind of high net worth clients in their expectation, and we've implemented that into kind of a normal body shop, if you like, or we kind of do all makes and models, but we tend to do quite a lot of high net worth still. We still have some customers from before as well, but so we give that level of service to kind of all customers.
And that just some of the stuff that some of the support you gave me just blew my mind. But do you know what? Before we go into that, there's a story about the body shop itself. And we started talking about this before we start recording, didn't we? Yeah. Do you want to just give? Are you all right? Kind of giving a bit of background to the
site, to
the site, yeah.
Yeah. So originally this site was a college that taught body shop. So it was. I think it was 10 years it was doing it, and we had an opportunity to take the site over. Next door to us is Morelli's, which is one of the major paint suppliers in the UK. So all of our products come from next door. So we don't have a huge amount of stock. We're very carbon neutral like that.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about van deliveries for our paint and things like that. But yeah, we just got the opportunity to take over a site. We've had to adapt it slightly for commercial use, if you like, because colleges don't. They're not set out like a business would be. No. But the main kind of plant, the spray booths and the paint mixing room and the compressors, it was all here to take over. So the opportunity was great. Obviously, it's in Enfield. Enfield's a really good location for us as a business because we're just on the edge of the M25. So we can cover London pretty well. It's always, people just don't understand that you can, you can travel 10, 15 miles in London and take 2 hours.
Yeah.
So,
yes. Oh, God, don't.
The London stuff takes longer than going to, I don't know, wherever, Milton Keynes or wherever. But, so we couldn't really miss the opportunity. And it's been great. We've had to, like I say, some adaptations to the site, but it's going really well, really good. And
I mean, it's a bit of a trek for you, isn't it? Kind of like from where you are. So remind me, where did you say you are in Surrey?
So we're on the Surrey-Hampshire border. So we live in Bentley, so it's near Farnham. So so my daily commute is 70 miles each way, which 99% of the time is with an EV. Depends on what we're doing, because there's lots of things going on. But I don't actually we don't have chargers at home. So I charge at work. We've got lots of chargers here, obviously, and it's an early start every day. So
I can imagine. Because have you got to do M25 then from where you are?
I try and miss it. So I'm kind of up and out between kind of 4:30 and 5:30.
Oh my God! And what time are you back?
About 6:45, 6:30, something like that. We close about 5, so weekends can be sort of Friday nights, bank holidays and stuff like that can be really busy. But it's not the kind of job that you can. I do work from home on occasion, but it's not really the kind of business with it's too involved. There's so much going on, and with what we do, there's a lot of with body repair. It's what you're doing is you're dealing with problems. So you've had an accident, so you've got a forced purchase. So the first thing is to understand the situation and what we need to do. Is the car mobile? Do we need to recover it, etc. Then we'll get the car in and do an assessment on the vehicle. So I'll have estimators that do that. I do some of them, but not much now. The guys do most of that. We then determine at that stage as well what's involved from a health and safety point of view. So the EV risk assessment that we do. So we do a basic risk assessment. So we test the car to make sure, one, we know what we're doing with the car. So if it's a product that we can't have repair methods for, so we have access to repair methods for cars. If we don't have repair methods, we don't take the job on, because you can't repair a car if you don't know what you're doing with it.
No.
And we do these basic checks on the car to make sure that the car takes a charge, what the level is, what the customer wants the level to be. So we have that. So, where you can select how much charge you want in the car, we tend to make a note of that. So from a customer experience point of view, it's the little bits that we do that you don't really notice. Obviously, the cars are charged when they're on site as well. There's lots of health and safety involved in what we do. From a repair point of view, repairing a normal vehicle or an ICE vehicle to an EV isn't massively different. Obviously, there are components that are different, motors rather than engines and stuff like that. But
Yes.
It's more the high voltage that you need to be aware of. So, like our technicians, everyone here is a first aider. So everyone in the whole business is first aid qualified.
Oh, that's good.
We did that because actually, if you do have a problem, hopefully we never do. We've never had one and I never want one. But if there is a problem, you need to be able to manage it.
Yes.
So a lot of companies have 2 first aiders, and that's the minimum for what you need. If one of those is out driving and the other one's off sick or on holiday, what can you do? When it comes to what we do, if it goes wrong, it's going to go it's going to be a problem. So we also have safety hooks in the workshop as well. So these safety hooks are to take the technician off of the vehicle. So if they are being electrocuted or they've been electrocuted, you can pull them off the car. So we have these safety hooks around the workshop.
Wow.
But if you do it right, there's not a problem with it. It's just, obviously, there's lots involved in what we do. There's a lot of the technical side of things. And that's the whole point of us doing it. So another body shop might get the car in and then they'll need to shut the car down. So then they'll refer that car to a dealer. The dealer will then shut the car down. It just adds time and money into the claim, where we do it on site because we've got trained technicians that know what they're doing. The industry is getting there. There's a lot of training that's gone on for high voltage. But there's not a lot of appetite in the industry for repairing electric vehicles. It seems to be, I think there's a lot of nervousness around it. And I think I talk at quite a few events and things like that. I've done a few over the past couple of years, and it's trying to explain the kind of the piece around, obviously your technicians are trained in this is what you need to do, but also think about all the other things that you need to be aware of. We have a quarantine area for cars, so if a car is at risk, it has to go into a quarantine area. And we monitor that car every 40 minutes for 4 hours.
Right.
To make sure that we're not going to have a thermo fire or a runaway. So we put some other things in place now where we've kind of we now have thermal imaging cameras that monitor that bay, so we get alarms that go off, so we don't have to stand with the car at 10 at night, so we can actually monitor the vehicle remotely.
Yeah.
And we're doing lots of these other things, but the industry as a whole is a bit slow, but you find that with most things, don't you? It's change, and it's
They don't like change, do they?
No.
Exactly. So do you think, is it more fear of the big change? Do you think that's why companies don't want to go into just EVs or just adding EVs to their repertoire? I think
a lot of people don't see, certainly when we started, they didn't see that there was a market for what we did or why we were doing what we were doing. But actually, we get a decent labour rate for what we do because we specialise in what we do. And then we just have to deliver the service to back up that labour rate. It's really simple, really, isn't it? You've got to give value to what you're doing, really. So, I think I think it will change, but there's a lot of technology. So you get like we look at like Tesla, for example. There's a lot of tech on that car, and if you're not into it, I mean, I've got like my panel beat here is kind of 64, 65 years old. He hasn't really got an appetite to understand that technology. Mm. He knows what to do. He knows when to get involved in the car and when not to. But he's not interested in the tech behind it. And unless you've got kind of young people that are kind of, up for moving forward, it is a challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just going back, you were talking about repair methods.
Yeah.
So can you just explain? I kind of get from what you were saying about what repair methods are, but why would there not be? So do you get repair methods for every single? Theoretically, you should have repair methods for every single EV that's out there, the same way as you would do as any other car.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as it's available. So certain vehicles, certain manufacturers wouldn't give you access to methods. So
why though?
I don't know. It's probably a control piece. They seem to be a lot better recently, but certainly on the premium vehicles. It's difficult to get methods for certain things. And then there's a lot of the kind of Chinese market that's very difficult to, and there's been quite a lot of work recently with certain brands where they're trying to come into the market and be supported. So like BYD is obviously a new brand, massive organisation. They're using Thatch and Research to do all of their repair methods and processes and everything else, which is really good because there's other brands out there, which I won't name, that have no methods, no colour codes. It's all like, it's all hit and miss, and you can't repair a car thinking, you need to understand how the vehicle is built, because there's stuff like, so we'll have a method to how to take the bumper off. There's certain things with ADAS, so all the safety systems on the front of the vehicle. There's all this tech that's on the car that we need to understand if we're going to interfere with it or not is one thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, that it works properly when we put it back together. And also, when you look at repair methods, so if you have a fairly large accident, there's certain ways of replacing the panels.
Yeah.
And you can, if you don't repair it correctly, you can potentially over-strengthen the car in a crumple zone. So if you imagine you've got the front piece of the car, if you over-strengthen that when you replace it, that won't crumple in another accident. Yes. So that's only going to go one way, and that will go into the cabin, which is obviously, you could have some horrific injuries from that kind of thing. So it's really, really important that cars are repaired correctly to the factory standards.
So actually, I'm going to share something with you that I was in a crash when I was 18.
Okay.
And I was in an Austin Ambassador, and I was a passenger, and we hit a lamppost.
Right.
And it all came into the cabin.
Yeah.
So when you talk about horrific injuries, I was one of those. I was in hospital for 5 weeks, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So I've been party to that and very seriously injured with it. Yeah,
and if you look at kind of as technology's moved on, vehicles are really, really safe now. But if you didn't repair it correctly, it's only going to perform like that vehicle that you were in, which is horrendous.
I'd not even thought about this until you just said that then, about kind of the reasons why it all came through into the cabin, so
they now absorb impact, so it's about protecting the people inside and outside. To be fair, that there's pedestrian safety systems, there's things that you don't realise happen when if you hit a pedestrian, some of the vehicles, the bonnet pops forward to stop them hitting the windscreen. Yes. There's all these systems that are on the cars that you're not aware of because you just drive your nice shiny or whatever, drive your car down the road. But also the accident, what you had was a really small bump, sort of not...
The latest one before Christmas, that is.
Yeah.
Not the original one. That was a big one.
but what I mean is that's very minor, no one really involved in it. We see some really badly damaged vehicles, and people are not, they're not even scratched. It's amazing.
And
Now.
thank God for that, honestly.
Yeah,
'Cause like I say, so I know I was talking to George before Christmas about the bump, and and she was kind of saying, oh, there was still a fair amount of damage, but compared to what the original one that I was in years in 1987 was when I was in the first in the original one. To me, that was nothing. Do you know what I mean? So, but I was just going back to what you were saying about repair methods, though. It seems to me that it would be detrimental to the OEM, to the manufacturer, to not provide that, because how, like you've just said, you would walk away from something that didn't have repair methods. Why would they not? Is it just like you say they're catching up, or are they just?
It's different. They've got a different. The UK are quite good at repairing cars. Our customers are very particular about what they want, which raises the standard in the industry, but it just doesn't have the same. I've been around lots of product launches with vehicles and stuff like that. Most of the big kind of the German brands and stuff like that, you have all of those methods available. Or if you haven't, there's a technical lead that will explain something to you. Because you get cars that are completely different. When Volkswagen launched the ID3, it's a completely different vehicle to anything they've done before. So hence why it was called the ID3. So it was understanding that product, and we see it as kind of the quirkiness of it. But obviously, you have to know what you're doing. Why other markets don't do it, I don't know, but it's getting better. So, and I have to say, just so we're clear, BYD have gone about it the right way.
Yes,
definitely, it's really good. We went to the launch of the product.
I remember you and George, but went recently.
Really good.
Didn't you?
They let us, me being an ex-technician, I was first under the ramp and wanting to understand how this works and how the battery, they've got different battery technology, and that's really interesting to me. I'm not an expert in any way when it comes to batteries, but I have a good understanding, and some of the stuff that's coming is brilliant.
So are they using blade technology in their batteries rather than the kind of the regular round?
Exactly. Yeah. So they showed us some like drill tests where they drill straight through the battery, and there was no flame at all from the battery pack. So there's no heat went into it. So that's really good, because thermo is the biggest concern, which was quite difficult for us when we started, actually, because trying to get insurance for a new business on electric vehicles, full of electric cars, it took a little bit of convincing, really, that we knew what we were doing. So we got there. Luckily, we've got quite a few good contacts, and we do know what we're doing. So
yeah, you do.
But we had a bit of a when they came to do like the site inspection, we had a bit of an education piece with them, really, because there was I remember walking around the workshop with them. They're saying, "Well, you've got electric cars here. There's so many cars. If one catches fire, this, that, and the other, whatever else." And we had a Range Rover on site at the same time, because we do some ICE vehicles, depending on what the customer's need is. I said, but that's full of petrol, isn't it? So that's got £100 worth of petrol in it. That's not the best product either, is it? So, if we're worried about something, you just got to manage if you've got your process in place, and you just do it right. Simple.
Manage the risk.
Yeah, we don't charge cars at night. We need to be on site with the vehicles when they're getting a charge and stuff like that. So, you just got to be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah. So, can you explain how you work with insurers? So which insurers do you specifically work with, and how does, obviously I can explain the process that I went through, but you took most of that away, didn't you? Because as soon as I thought, oh, Adam, oh my God, right, so I got a hold of George, and George passed me on to you, and then that was, everything was out of my hands then, which was fantastic. But how does it work with insurers then?
So with regards to insurance companies that we work with all insurers, but we're not approved by any of them, because we choose not to be.
Okay.
So you'll have insurance approved body shops, then you'll have other body shops or manufacturer approved body shops, etc. So the reason to not be an approved repairer is because insurance companies will push volume into you, So they'll give you lots and lots of work. You'll have an agreed rate, which will be less because they're giving you volume of work. And there's more control from the insurance company over how things are done. Where with us, we will only repair it the correct way. So I'm not suggesting that others don't, but it's a much easier conversation for us to have because it's just, no, it's not happening. This is not the way you do it. So we do have one insurance partner called Novo, so Novo Insurance, and they're a big electric repairer. They've always been heavily involved with Tesla. And the relationship we have with them is great because James that owns Novo, we've got a great working relationship. I started to work with them when I was at Bodytechnics. We look after all of their vehicles here, all of their hire fleet. So from a managing of a claim point of view, it's really easy because we've got control over the situation between Novo and EV. But if you need to make a claim on your insurance, you have the choice of repairer. So a lot of people don't realise that. They just phone the insurance company up. The insurance company will actively try and push it into their network because that will be a cheaper option for them.
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Originally.
And there are times as well when, there's offers to the customer to, if you can't go to our repairer, we will give you this. So it's not really right, to be fair.
No, it's a bit crap in it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether it's actually legal as well, but we won't go into that. You have choice repairer. So a lot of our customers, we get a lot of repeat business because once they understand how it works, they tend to just leave it to us.
Yeah.
So all we need is kind of the images of the vehicle. We do a lot via image, so you don't need to come to Enfield. The claim reference, which obviously you would need to set up. And then we need the claim reference number, the date of the incident. And then, to be fair, the insurance companies, once they know that we've got hold of the vehicle, and we're going to repair it, they're pretty good. They're not really. We've got good relationships with most insurers. There are a few out there that are hard work to deal with. But for us, again, it's about the customer experience. So, from your point of view, it's very much like, I've sent Adam the photos and then it was done. There's a bit that goes into that to make that, but that's what we do, So yeah.
And actually, do you know? And I said this to you before. The thing that I was over the moon with was that you provided me with an electric vehicle whilst mine was in for repair. And I know that if I hadn't have used you, I would have been fobbed off with a nice vehicle. And it's not that I can't drive one, but I would prefer to drive. I would prefer to have a courtesy car that's an electric. And the fact you gave me a Polestar, well, my God, I was so excited. And of course, I only managed to drive it 2 days because I then came down with COVID, so I didn't go out. But it was just like, this is amazing. The service that you gave me. So Luke, who was the chap that works with you, that came over and we swapped cars, and we sat in the Polestar, and he went through, kind of, right, these are the differences. Yeah. Because obviously each EV, it's just like, these are certain nuances and things like that, but oh my God, it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful vehicle, and actually just having that ability to be able to kind of go, right, okay, I know it was drivable, it was fine, wasn't it? But just to know that you were bringing the Polestar to, and my car was going off, and Luke was taking it, and then a few days later it came back.
And
that was it.
Yeah, exactly. And so when the car comes on site, as quite often is the case, we'll strip the car down and find further damage. And to be fair with your car, it was only a few parts behind. But we had pre-ordered the parts to try and make your process as kind of smooth and as quick as possible. Luckily, those parts were available to us. In that situation, we don't go back to the insurance company and ask for authority. We image the car through the repair process, and then at the end, we then go to the insurance company and say, look, this is what we found. These are the bits. These are the prices. It's going to cost this much more. Can you please authorise it?
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
your one was really easy. So who you insure with, the engineer that dealt with it, they just want it done and move on to the next one, because there's so many claims going on that the arguing, the bickering, and we do have it. I've got a car here at the moment that. So the car came in between Christmas and New Year. So there's lots of phone calls and kind of remote working and organising to get the car on site. So it was a BMW, big impact on it. So we spoke to the insurance company. They took a couple of weeks to authorise the repairs, arguing over silly things, wanting £5 off of this and £10 off of that on sort of £11,000 worth of work. Agreed it all. As we were repairing the car, extra damage, small bits and bobs. There was a price increase from BMW, so we had to go back with that. That car has been ready for a week and a half, and the insurance engineer is just not talking to us. So the client is in hire, so it's a non-fault claim. I'm guessing £160 a day hire. And we're 10 days in, 11 days, and they're still not author, and the car's ready to go. We just need the authority. You can't let that car go. You have to have at least the authority.
Yeah.
There are some insurers where we ask for payment, but with this one we wouldn't, because they're a big insurer. Which is crazy, wasting money. Like I say at the start, it was arguing over £5, and now you just spent £1,100 that you didn't need to spend on hire.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, but that's out of your hands, isn't it? It's kind of, I'm assuming that the kind of the person in the hire car, the owner of the Beamer is kind of knows these things, doesn't he? So
she and she wants her car back, which is fair enough, and we're just every day. So on hold for 2 hours on Friday trying to get it done. Emails. The claims team actually said, what did they say to us? We'll get to it when we can. Sort of stop calling, and it's like crazy.
Is that because there's a lot of claims out there and they can't cope with the number?
Possibly, yeah. I think there is a lot of claims. There's been a lot of flood and things like that. So that always has an effect in what we're doing.
Stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. What we do. We do what we do every day. We know what we're doing. There should be trust there. That it's just dealt with and done. Everything is imaged, everything's supported. You should just be able to get it done and move on to the next one. Because for us, from a timescale point of view, the cycle for your repair, the quicker we can do that, still doing it right, but the faster we can process your vehicle, it's on to the next one, it's on to the next one, it's on to the next one. So we've always got work, we've always got a volume going on all the time. So, we don't want to waste time with cars sat here.
No, and it's taking up space as well, isn't it? Where and
then we go back to the same thing again. It's like, the customer's okay at the moment. We've got a great relationship with the customer, but it's not ideal. We'd be much happier if she's back in the car,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if we carry on talking about insurers, then. Yeah. So I kind of said to you before we started recording that our insurance premiums due. It's sometime in March, and I know that. So when I had the bump before Christmas, I had protected no claims. I had 9 years plus of protected no claims, but lots of people are talking about insurance premiums increasing. So I'm expecting it, to go up quite a lot. It went up last year, and then I'm expecting it to go up. What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
So, my thoughts or my things that I'm thinking about that is, I think everyone's premiums going up quite considerable. Really, I've seen lots of things online, sort of on social media about increases in policies and whatnot. There seems to be a time through COVID where insurance companies made massive profits, huge profits, because no one was making any claims but still insuring the cars. And I think once they come out of COVID, I think there was a lot of insurance underwritten at the wrong rate or the wrong values. So it's made the insurance companies go onto the back foot. And I don't think they necessarily wrote the policies correctly. And I think it's just come home now. And the problem is the end user is the one that suffers from it, It's so expensive now, insurance is crazy. sometimes there's blame around repair cost, but if I've done lots of comparisons, I've been asked to do lots of comparisons on ICE and EV. So we've done physical estimates on, an Audi Q8 to an e-tron 55. So literally the same product. There's not a huge amount of difference from a repair point of view, depending on what you're doing. But I think we did 13 cars with the same repair, and the cost for EV was slightly more, because there was quite often, if the car needed the shutdown process or it had the latest version of ADAS or whatever, so there was a slight increase in that, but there's less components to an EV, so it's not I just think it was written really badly, the premiums, and I think it's now causing everyone a problem, to be honest.
So that, like you say, the driver who's having to be insured is taking the fall for the price.
Yeah,
but them
exactly.
getting the prices wrong in the first place.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that you won't necessarily know that one insurance company is the same as the next. So you go onto a comparison website, you might find that comparison website's owned by an insurer. So that is the case in some. So when you're looking at something, although oddly enough, that same insurer can have completely different premiums for the same customer in the same area with the same vehicle. So I don't know. I'd love to know. We get asked all the time. Someone needs to make a decision whether they want to put it on their insurance or pay for it themselves. We can't advise on what your premium's going to be.
No.
But what I can tell you is, if we're doing a £4,000 repair, it's probably not going to be £4,000 on your premium. So it would make sense to make an insurance claim. But it's so difficult, yeah.
I think it's I'm going to have to see when it comes through in March, see how much it goes up by. Our son was supposed to be taking his driving test last July. There's a long story behind that, but he didn't end up doing it. So we might even take him off when we get it back. But we'll have to just see how the kind of what the insurance premium comes back as. And we always go to different. So we do go on the comparison sites, but we tend to kind of take a bit of an independent view on it and look at different prices, and then as you would, hopefully most people would do, if you think you can find it somewhere else, we'll either go back to the insurer that we're with and say, this insurer can do this, can you beat it, or can you match it? And then I think you've just got to do that. You can't just take it on the chin and go, oh yeah, we're gonna have to pay this much,
No. But also within what we do, and it's understandable, the price is the driver. So it all comes around the price and what you get for that product. So there are really low-end policies that will give you insurance, but when you come to make a claim, it becomes a bit of a nightmare, because you're signed into a contract with some insurers that you will do this and you will pay an increased excess and all this stuff. So you've got to read the detail, is what I would say.
That is the thing, isn't it? Don't get.
No.
I've said to somebody else, you pay for what you get, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it's about spending that bit of time and looking through what you are actually getting to see if it's worth it, because people will probably go for the cheaper option, wouldn't they? Or the other thing is, you go for a slightly cheaper option, but with a massive kind of big excess. So yeah.
There's also, so just quickly on the excess side of it, you can also get excess protection. So you can have a policy for your excess. So,
oh God.
But it can work for some people. So you
can
increase your excess to £1,000.
Yeah.
Pay, I don't know, £20-30 for a policy protection, and then end up having to either pay no excess or a smaller amount. So that's another thing to look into. But yeah, it does work.
I did not know that was a thing.
There's insurance for insurance now, so there you go.
Oh my God, that's all right. That's just hilarious, isn't it? Oh my God.
It's been out wide as well. A lot of people do use it, but it's not. Yeah, it's kind of sold. It's like an add-on. So if you're if you're buying a car from a dealership, you might find that they offer this extra protection, like they used to do gap protection and all that sort of,
Yes.
all those
Yeah.
bits,
Oh my
all
God.
the
Oh,
add-ons.
I'll bear that in mind when it comes through. It should be
Have a
coming through
look,
in the
have a look. Yeah,
yeah, in the next couple of weeks. We were so when I had the car in for repair with you guys, and you were saying you'd already ordered the parts in advance, hadn't you? But then
yeah,
there were a couple of things that you had to kind of get. So
yeah.
how is there a parts delay still? Because there's this whole thing about people think that, oh, if you've got an EV, the parts take months and months. And I have heard some,
Yeah,
depending on the vehicle, that take some time. But on
yeah.
average, how is the parts situation with repairs?
So if you look at it from a percentage point of view, I would say 80% of what we do, 80% of what we order is available in a couple of days.
Right.
Then you'll have back order, like factory back orders. So stuff that comes from Europe may take like 5 to 10 days. So
Right.
you can
Okay.
build that, and then you have the stuff that's really difficult to get hold of. So there might be there's to be fair, this was another added thing for insurance really, but like Ukraine, a lot of wiring looms are made in Ukraine, so that's caused a huge problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it depends really. I've got a German car here at the moment that the wiring loom came in today, and we've been waiting for it for 6 months.
Oh my God.
So the car's just been sat there doing nothing, and we can't do anything with it. We tried to get a second-hand part, a green part. So we actively look at other options. Obviously, there was a huge delay on this part. It was quite a popular vehicle, so we're at the back of the queue. And we've had, I've had other cars where I've had to purchase parts from Europe because the manufacturer in the UK won't sell the part because they might only have 5 in stock, and they're worried about having them for warranty vehicles, so they won't sell us that part. So we get informed of these things, but you can't really explain that to the end, or they ask you not to explain that to the end user, the customer, because obviously they've got them in stock. So we have to go to Europe and then go and get them, and then have all the import dramas and things that go with that. But yeah, it's there are problems. It's definitely not EV. There's problems with all brands.
Okay.
I would say it's better. It was much better. Past couple of months, it's kind of gone backwards a little bit. But generally, yeah, there's not. It's tricky components. It was kind of micro switch things and things like that. Where you need the sensors and things like that. But yeah, generally, it's not a huge problem.
So do you think, so for that 20% then, do you think that with the ZEV mandate coming in and manufacturers actually having to up their number of vehicles that are being manufactured, do you think that there will, on the parts side, there will also be an increase? There's got to be an increase, surely, to kind of sort of equal it all out.
You would hope so. You just need to see whether that's the. It depends. They have to prioritise on what they're doing, don't they? So you tend to find the vehicle a bit like a new product when it comes out, and the repair method, like we were saying earlier, you get a launch car, and then and I've been in that situation before a couple of times where I've had a launch car that I once had a car that was going to the motor show as a launch car, first one sort of in Europe. We had it as a dealer group, showing someone the car, and someone damaged it. So we had to try and fix this car before the motor show.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's always the way. It's always there's always the drama behind it. So yeah, whether it's booked on a ferry, whether it's the only one in the UK, whatever. Yeah, if something gets damaged, it tends to be that one. So yeah.
Oh, that's just typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. So obviously, you were talking about BYD and their repair methods. So would they not launch the so we've got the BYD Atto, haven't we? That's already been sold in the UK, and then there's the BYD Seal, isn't? Oh, Dolphin, isn't there?
Dolphin's available and whatever. Yeah. I think the Seal is just coming into the market, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's the car that we got taken out in and did a few bits with. Really nice product, actually. But yeah, so they're working on that at the moment. So, but they did some tests when they were at Thatcham where they ordered all the body panels for the Atto, and they came within like 2 or 3 days. So they're obviously available.
Yeah.
But BYD are probably, they know what they're doing, don't they? People don't realise how big BYD, they've done all of this a long time ago. So
Have they? Oh, you're going to have to tell me. Tell me more.
Well, so BYD is a massive car brand. So in other countries, you know, it's at the front of everything BYD. So, I mean, I think it's half the London buses are powered by BYD. So
Are they?
they've already got like a parts process
Yeah.
from that on its own. So they're kind of around us all the time anyway.
Oh my God. No,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
realise.
yeah, they're huge. I mean, yeah, I think 600,000 employees.
Wow.
And they were saying about problems with supply of, shipment. They said, and obviously they just bought. How was it? 4 ships, or so, I can't remember. 4 or 7 ships. Like
I
you do.
did hear they bought their own ships to bring them over.
And
My
obviously,
God.
and from a material point of view, the cars are made. They make everything apart from the tyres and the glass. Everything else is made by BYD. So there's no issue with third party supply, which is quite often the case. That is the problem for manufacturers, is a change in something that causes the problem.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
We're
really
going to
interesting.
see a very different car brand with them coming over, aren't we? Kind of
Yeah, well,
introducing them.
yeah, and so as a business, most body shops would be trying to go for the premium products to, the old premium products like Mercedes and things like that to try and get the right labour rates and this, that, and the other. But we actually see that market as a stronger market for us. So where we would normally be chasing other brands, we're kind of going, actually, we'd quite like to be involved in BYD. Yeah, so we've had conversations, get invited to the launch of the product and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's I think the market is changing quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think there will be a place, and you look at Tesla, they're massive. The way that they sell cars is completely different to everyone else. Your Tesla experience of a handover, if you've come from a prestige German brand to Tesla for the handover, you'd find it quite difficult because that's your car, off you go. Because that's how they work. But it's all available to you, whether it's in the car online or whether it's you need to research it. It's all there. It's just different, and I think that will be as there's kind of changes in generations. I think that's how it is. It's the different people learn differently, don't they? I've got colleagues that are much younger than me, and I have to not behave differently, but I have to go about things a different way because they're not interested in that and this, that, and the other. It's not how we used to do it. It's like now.
Yes.
Just how we operate. But yeah,
And the ability that younger people, so like my son who's 18, kind of just picking tech up just like that. It's just, to them, it's just, oh yeah, I'd be kind of, I think I'm fairly tech savvy, for example, and we were even with the Hyundai, we when we got it, both me and James were sat in the car and he'd be YouTubing something and he'd be, oh no, it's that, Mum. And I'd be still doom scrolling,
Yeah.
but it doesn't say that. He's going, no, da-da-da-da-da, and that's it.
it's available to you exactly.
Yeah.
Little
It's
secret, we can use YouTube as well sometimes. If we're like, we don't, something customer asks about a feature on a car, sometimes it's quicker just to watch someone do it on a video and then check it works.
yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh,
It's all
honestly.
available.
Things and I'm just a lot of the tech. Do you know what? I think it's the Dolphin. Is it the Dolphin BYD Dolphin where the actual infotainment system turns from landscape to portrait and stuff like that?
I don't know whether they all do it. The Seal did
they?
it. Yeah, but so you can change. Also, BYD produce half the world's iPads.
No, do they? Oh my God. Well, that makes sense then, doesn't it? Oh my God.
Uh, but in the car, it's Android tech, so I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be an Apple car?
Well, there's rumours of it, isn't there? But yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is there? You could
it
just
wasn't. I think there
imagine.
was a while ago, but yeah, and Google cars and all sorts, isn't there? But yeah, I think it's it's there's lots going on all the time, lots of change. You just got to go with it. You've got to adapt to
Do.
to whatever it is. So, but that's kind of I kind of see that as our approach on everything really. Whatever it is, we're quite nimble as a business, so we can kind of go do this or do that, or as long as our core values are there, it's fine.
And your levels of customer satisfaction were amazing. I'm not just people who've listened to this podcast and who know me will know I don't bullshit. This is I would not have asked you on if I didn't think that you weren't a brilliant brand, and the way that you deal with your business is so different, and it was just such a seamless experience, even, and you just explained to me about Samson. I didn't even realise that the guy who delivered the car back was a TV celebrity, and you're going to have to apologise to Samson for me for not actually recognising him.
He won't mind. He won't mind. I think
How many
he likes
followers did you say? How many followers did you say he's got?
Just under 60,000, I think, on Instagram. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he ought to do our social media for us, but that's another conversation. Yeah.
But honestly, just the experience. So if anybody who's listening or watching actually has any, nobody wants to be in an accident. It's not the kind of thing that anybody wants to be in. But if you are in one, just contact at EV Bodyshops, contact Adam, because I'm not just saying this. The service, the ability to actually take all of that crap out of my hands and know that you've got an EV to drive, as a courtesy car, it just made such a massive difference, Adam. So I'm going to say thank you now, because it was just a really, really seamless experience with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just try and turn it into a positive, really. So, we have the kind of all the little dramas that go along the way, but, we just update you where we are and what we're doing. And, sometimes we can have cars here for quite a long time for different reasons, one being parts and things like that, But you kind of build a bit of a relationship with the customer then. It's quite nice, really. And that's kind of where your repeat business comes from. It's, and we do have some customer, We've got a Model 3 Tesla. We put 5 rear ends on it. I mean, the guy's pretty unlucky.
Oh, God. That is unlucky. Oh, my God.
One of them was us delivering it back. Just finished it, and someone rear-ended it.
No.
I mean, it's in the right hands, I suppose, but it's not ideal, is it? So we just put another back end on it.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, you do get... Yeah, there are certain vehicles that you do see quite a lot. It's a bit unfortunate, especially if it's not their fault. I mean, this one Tesla, I don't think nothing has ever been his fault. Someone's hit it, or whatever.
Oh my God! Actually, I will tell you just before we finish. I'll tell you a little story. When my son was little, I made gluten-free cakes. I didn't do any improvement work or anything like that. I made gluten-free cakes because I'm celiac. And my son is now, and I made I can't remember what it was. I made a car cake for my nephew, and we sent it. He's up in Yorkshire, and his now ex-girlfriend actually asked me to make it for him, so I sent it up. But the delivery company kind of screwed it up, and ended up with a car crash. It was a car crash cake.
Really? Oh dear. Not ideal.
So there's my little story to end there. I think the girlfriend's parents were trying to repair it.
Yeah.
Do some sugarcraft body shop.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
But listen, just as we finish, so how do people find you? So website, social media, where do we find you?
Yeah, so website evbodyshops.co.uk. We have a contact us on that. We use WhatsApp, so we've got a WhatsApp link on the website, which is really good for customers with pictures. So sometimes you just want an idea of a cost. We can do that it's a rough idea, but we can give you an idea of what you should do with the car. We have obviously you can email into us at help@evbodyshops.co.uk. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, but Instagram and LinkedIn are kind of our main platforms for socials. But yeah, there's lots of easy ways to get hold of us. But yeah, so that's it.
And if you don't find Adam direct, then contact George, his wife, and she's fantastic because she's all over Women Drive Electric. And yeah, we've not even talked about her. So that's another conversation. Yeah. But listen, Adam, it's been really, really fantastic talking to you. I've really appreciated your time, and I'm sure everybody listening and watching is actually, they know that there is a company out there if they actually have a prang to, and they're in an EV that can help them. So thank you ever so much for joining me.
No problem at all. Thank you for your time.
And to everybody else, I'm going to say thank you to you all for listening and watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye. Thanks for watching this episode of Electric Evolution. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay connected with us. And if you're inspired by our journey towards a sustainable future and want to support our mission on a monthly basis, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Electric Evolution Podcast. Your support really helps us to bring the latest insights and discussions in the world of clean energy, electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging and sustainability to you. If a regular subscription isn't what you're looking for, you can always consider buying us a coffee. Just head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/Electric Evolution Podcast. Every cup helps us to keep the electric evolution moving forwards. And if you're curious about our work in the EV infrastructure sector at Full Circle Continuous Improvement, why not visit us at www.fullcircleci.co.uk to find out more. And if you want to send me a message, you can always email me on liz@fullcircleci.co.uk. And finally, please don't forget to share this podcast if it sparked your interest. And let's keep spreading the word about all of these topics that we're covering. So, until next time, see you soon. Bye.